For 1 hour, everything you know about weight disappears. Cars float, oceans rise, and the world changes forever. Imagine the clock strikes exactly noon, and in a fraction of a second, an invisible planetary anchor is suddenly cut. For exactly 1 hour, everything you have ever known about weight just vanishes. You feel this sudden, terrifying lightness expanding in your chest. The solid ground beneath your feet, it suddenly feels more like a suggestion than a rule.
In the blink of an eye, 2-ton cars are literally floating, drifting completely out of control into the air. The oceans are surging upward, violently rebelling against the coastlines. The very fabric of our modern world starts unraveling right before your eyes. Now, this isn't magic, guys. This is a profound, terrifying alteration of physics.
All right, let's dive into exactly what's happening here. To really grasp this explainer, we need to look at the strict scientific reality of a sudden shift to 0.5 g. This means Earth's gravitational pull, that fundamental force tethering our atmosphere, our oceans, and our very bodies to this spinning rock, has instantly dropped to exactly 50% of its normal strength. 50%, that's our magic, terrifying number for the hour. Every single object, every person, every towering skyscraper, and every speeding vehicle out there instantly loses half of its weight. Now, the mass remains exactly the same, but that downward force applying the mass to the Earth, it's abruptly, catastrophically cut in half. Step outside your front door, and immediate chaos has erupted. Without sufficient weight, ground friction is severely reduced. Cars doing highway speeds suddenly have tires way too light to grip the asphalt. Brakes become nearly useless, vehicles are drifting wildly, hydroplaning across perfectly dry pavement into each other. Even just walking down the street becomes this desperate, flailing struggle. Pedestrians are losing their footing, pushing off the ground with way too much force, and tumbling helplessly into the air.
Look up, and honestly, the skies are just as dangerous. Commercial planes rely on a highly delicate balance of lift, thrust, drag, and gravity. With gravity suddenly slashed in half, planes would unexpectedly surge upward. Autopilot systems would violently overcorrect, leading to terrifying plummets. Even birds, whose muscle memory is perfectly tuned to 1.0 g, would struggle. They'd be flapping erratically, completely confused, finding themselves entirely too light for their own wings.
So let's look at how this builds into an atmospheric crisis. Gravity doesn't just hold us down, it literally holds our air down. As gravity weakens, air pressure drops instantly. The gases making up our atmosphere are no longer tightly anchored, so they start physically expanding outward into the cold vacuum of space. You would feel your ears pop violently, kind of like a super rapid ascent in an airplane, as weather systems globally just spin completely out of control.
But the most catastrophic macro event? That's happening in the oceans. You see, our tides are controlled by the moon's gravitational pull fighting against the Earth's. With Earth's defense suddenly slashed in half, the moon instantly has a massive upper hand. We'd witness catastrophic global tidal surges. The oceans would be pulled upward into these massive walls of water, flooding coastal cities worldwide in a matter of minutes.
While the world outside is literally tearing itself apart, we really need to ask, what's happening inside your body right now? Because, as it turns out, your internal biology is just as dependent on normal gravity as the oceans are.
You'd be hit with an immediate physiological chain reaction. Your heart is an absolute engine, brilliantly designed to pump heavy blood uphill against a 1.0 g force. When that resistance vanishes, blood rapidly rushes to your upper body and head. We're talking intense facial swelling and absolutely debilitating migraines. At the same time, your muscles lose their vital tension. The fluid in your inner ear, which dictates your entire sense of balance, starts floating aimlessly. You'd be struck with immediate, paralyzing vertigo. By the time you actually manage to steady yourself, you'd start hearing the terrifying groaning of metal and concrete. The structures all around you are suddenly under extreme, unprecedented stress. Now, it seems counterintuitive, right? If things are lighter, shouldn't they be safer? The answer is a terrifying no. Lower gravity completely breaks the fundamental rules of human engineering.
Our entire infrastructure is meticulously designed to push back against a very specific downward force. When you remove half of that downward weight, the tension in building foundations violently reverses. Massive suspension bridges, which rely on the heavy downward pull of the road to remain taut, well, their cables would go dangerously slack. Skyscrapers, normally anchored by their immense weight, would begin swaying unpredictably in those shifting atmospheric winds.
To truly conceptualize this nightmare, let's pull back for a second and look at a cosmic comparison. Where else in the universe does this kind of crazy environment actually exist? So the crucial point is right here. We live our entire lives at 1.0 G. The moon is extremely light, sitting at just 0.16 G. But Mars sits at 0.38 G. That means for one terrifying hour, navigating your local grocery store or just walking through your neighborhood feels remarkably close to walking on the surface of Mars. You're suddenly an astronaut on your own planet.
But even amidst all this chaos, there are a few strange, almost magical side effects. Let's explore some incredible what-ifs about daily life in a half-gravity world.
First off, you effectively become superhuman. With your muscle mass completely unchanged but your weight halved, an average person could effortlessly leap over a car. You would instantly shatter Olympic high jump and weightlifting records without even breaking a sweat. It's like having literal superpowers for an hour.
Second, the weather gets incredibly weird. The size of a raindrop is dictated by water's surface tension fighting against gravity. In 0.5 G, surface tension wins hands down. So if it rained during this hour, you'd be looking at gigantic, wobbly spheres of water falling from the sky in slow motion, bursting heavily against the pavement. It would be beautiful, but absolutely surreal.
Third, heavy manual labor just becomes child's play. Throwing a massive solid oak dining table across a room, or pushing a completely stranded vehicle out of an intersection, it would require very little effort. Things that were previously immovable suddenly slide out of the way with just a slight push.
But listen, the fun is extremely short-lived because that clock is ticking. At minute 1, we survive the initial shock. By minute 30, global coastlines are devastated by rogue tides and structural foundations are groaning. Now, as we hit minute 59, a completely new terror sets in. The world realizes the hour is almost up. Humanity has to brace for the absolute most dangerous moment of all, the return.
The clock strikes instantly. Violently, 1.0 G snaps back. The full, crushing weight of the world returns in a microsecond. Everything that was floating, swaying, or airborne slams downward with immense, unstoppable force. Slack suspension cables snap incredibly tight, buildings wildly compress, the oceans crash aggressively back into their basins. Honestly, the shockwave of normal weight returning would be just as destructive as the moment it left.
This entire scenario leaves us with a pretty profound realization. As we've explored in this documentary explainer, we rarely ever think about gravity. It's the ultimate invisible background character of our entire lives. Yet, the true weight of the world is exactly what holds us all together. It anchors our air, it tames our oceans, and it literally keeps our hearts beating. We exist purely on the grace of this invisible, unyielding force. If this journey into the unknown fascinated you, then you're exactly in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to AR Factverse for more mind-blowing science documentaries just like this one. We're constantly exploring the very edges of reality and the laws of physics, and you won't want to miss what we uncover next.
And I really want to hear from you. Drop a like on this explainer and comment your thoughts down below. If gravity suddenly dropped by half for just 1 hour, where would you hide, or what incredible, superhuman thing would you try to do? Let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next explainer.